welcome back. To one of our top stories this hour, the South African Students' Federation has added its voice to calls for the Higher Education Minister, Nobuhle Nkabane, to vacate office. Let's unpack it further with the Federation's President, Keamogetswe Masike. Thanks for your time this afternoon. You will know, of course, that SASCO held a briefing just this morning about the 7 issues it has with the Higher Education Department under Minister Nkabane not fulfilling its mandate. And it is incredibly similar to what your federation has said.
No, thank you, Michelle. Good day to you and good day to your listeners, and thank you for having us. In actual fact, these are very interesting developments, to see that the South African Student Congress has actually come on board to, support the call made by the South African Students Federation for the Minister of Education and Training, Dr. Nobuhle Nkabane, to vacate office. And I think last week we went to the Department of Education, marched with thousands of students that came across from different universities and private colleges that said that it cannot be business as usual when the Minister of Education and Training, Dr. Nobuhle Nkabane, is in office and pretends to, blue tick issues that pertain to the NSFAS conundrum. In actual fact, we submitted a memorandum of grievances to the Department of Education where her advisor acknowledged on public record that the minister will attend to those particular issues, but surprisingly, 2 hours later, that public commitment was withdrawn from the official website of the Department of Education. So we're very disappointed with those developments. Once again to that, we've also questioned the merits that were used to appoint the board of NSFAS. One, we've questioned that we saw what happened with the SITA boards, where we saw friends of politicians and government officials being appointed to those particular boards. And we questioned the very same process because we've seen that there's no consistency in the department. The minister is abusing her public responsibility as an official of the executive, to be decisive in approach. So we're saying that she must leave. We've made that call. Ordinary students and the dejected students of this country have made that particular call that she must leave, and she must not leave alone. She must leave with whoever that is advising her in that particular office. We know that the advisor of the minister is incompetent. We know that the people that are surrounding her are very incompetent. The chief of staff is incompetent, and everyone in that particular department is very incompetent. Students of this country are defunded. They're facing eviction. Appeals have not been responded to. University executive officials who also attempted to sabotage that particular march are also tooless on dealing with this particular conundrum. So we as the federation have made that particular call that the minister must leave. She's incompetent. We saw when she was also summoned in the portfolio committee on education, where she was arrogantly, she posed an attitude of arrogance when she was posed a question by the portfolio committee on education, the chairperson. So she's not fit, she's incompetent, and she must leave that particular office.
Yeah, there's the red flags that have come up for various organizations like yourselves and SASCO, including what you've just mentioned around the seated chairperson, board chairperson appointments, but also the makeup of the NSFAS board, right?
Yes.
That has also come up as a huge red flag.
Yes. In actual fact, we met with the NSFAS officials. We met with the CEO in Cape Town on the 21st of May, where we posed some of these difficult questions to the board of NSFAS, to the CEO of NSFAS, where the CEO ran away. In actual fact, we were very disappointed that the CEO made a commitment to meet with us on the basis that we had pressing questions that, pertained to that institution. And on the last hour, the CEO ran away from us and he appointed, in actual fact, he sent a delegation of the COO to meet with us. And we said to them that we're not happy with, how they are running that particular institution. They are pretending to be, taking decisions that, must help ordinary black students of this country. But in actual fact, what they are doing there they are not really rigorously dealing with those particular questions of NSFAS. Students are being evicted, students are being defunded on a daily basis. That institution is captured by politicians, government officials who do not have an interest of making sure that ordinary black students of this country have access to higher education. I can tell you now, students have dropped out from institutions, students have went to write exams without having any financial support from government. Students are attempting on a daily basis to call those particular executive officials to respond to their particular questions that pertain to appeals, the N+ question, the TVET cycle question that have not been responded to. Universities are also clueless on how to respond to those particular questions. But I can tell you till today, those people are sitting comfortably there. No one is held accountable. We've written countless times to the Minister of Education, who's in question today, who's also not attempted, to rigorously deal with these issues of students. In actual fact, the minister is parading to be dealing with certain things that do not speak with this particular conundrum that confronts black students today.
So, I mean, the issues with NSFAS, Keamogetswe, is they're not new. They are long-standing historical issues, performance of NSFAS, their ability to account for certain things. Would you say that certain things have deteriorated under Minister Nkabane, or is it just sort of the same struggles that students have had over a period of years?
In actual fact, Michelle, it's boring that on a daily basis we must speak about NSFAS. Because NSFAS issues are systematic challenges that we have to deal with on a daily basis. Every year, come the beginning of the academic year, we must speak about the NSFAS. Students are facing challenges. Students cannot get their issues resolved. And in actual fact, we must also register our dissatisfaction around the response that we also received from the CEO of NSFAS when he was posed a question around this particular question. And he tried to, run away from the question by saying that these are inherited challenges. He said that he presides over an institution where he must take over challenges that are inherited, of which this was very disappointing to hear from someone who was entrusted with the responsibility of making sure that he turns over that institution. But I can tell you, NSFAS is corrupt. Officials in that particular institution are very corrupt. It's just a lot of corruption that is happening there, Michelle, and people do not want to be held accountable. So we've written a very comprehensive memorandum to the minister, of which we're still waiting for that particular meeting, because we've also said that the minister, as a public servant, must afford us an opportunity to sit down with her on a face-to-face meeting to rigorously deal with issues of NSFAS. So we're still waiting for that particular response from her to afford us that particular opportunity to reflect on these particular challenges. But I can tell you for a fact and for free that the minister is incompetent. The minister must leave that particular office. And we actually, embrace that SASCO today, in their media briefing, in actual fact, have come on board on the clearance call made by the South African Student Federation to make sure that the minister vacates that particular office.
Keamogetswe, let me thank you for your time. Keamogetswe Masike is the president of the South African Students Federation. And yeah, as he says, the NSFAS issue at this stage is boring. It's the same issue that's being discussed over and over again over a period of many, many years.